Hello, the Jamieson-Folland, beaming even in from very beautiful Okura here in Auckland, in New Zealand, in the North Island, at the time of filming. And by the time you see this, I will be at the next place on our trip, which is very exciting. So this week's thought for the week, thought for the day, is around face planting. And this can be in any area, literally on skis or literally falling over, all the way through to what this week's theme is about, which is around our lives ending up, well, for me anyway, I'll tell you the story. That's probably the best way to describe it. And that will explain what it is that I'm getting at. So to cast our minds back, back about 4 years, when Chris and I first decided, right, it's time to actually get going and start to get going with our travels, this travel lifestyle that we planned, and could it really be the time? And oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of reasons and excuses why, oh no, we can't possibly go. And we finally did it. It's not that we cut the umbilical cord, but we just decided to stretch it, more like a bungee. And so starting to travel year round, and then pop back to New Zealand for a period, visit Bali, which has become a bit of a base for us. We love it there. The States, which we've been used to visiting each year, but expanding that, going to the Bahamas. So really exploring and adventuring, and opening that doorway to this lifestyle that we dreamed of for all those years. And finally let ourselves do it. And what we've actually found for the last couple of years is that there's so many places we wanted to go to that we thought, oh my gosh, let's go here and here and here. And in fact, not so much last year, which was a very busy one, but the one before that, I think we visited about 22 countries and we spoke in 15 of those. So it was a little bit full on, a bit intense. And so it was a little bit less last year. It's still quite full on. And so that's what I talk about when I mean the face planting. We're finding periods when we're just doing super tired and putting ourselves in a situation really in terms of our energy availability and our schedules, that our enjoyment level was going down. And that's where it's been so valuable for us. And every day is a new day, and it's a work in progress. One thing that's been super valuable for us, and I believe that this is something we can apply in many areas of our lives, and I see this in many of my clients who I work with, is get clear about our values. Because everything that we do in our lives, everything we choose to prioritize, is based on what it is that's important to us in our lives, as opposed to living our lives by a to-do list, where I've done that for many years and found that I just end up chasing my tail. I don't know if that's been your experience, but it certainly has for me. Whereas when we started living our lives more so by our values and our priorities in our lives, this is when Providence moves, the earth moves, and the face planting becomes less frequent. So by no means have I got it sorted. However, life has already become more streamlined, and oh gosh, that's a big helicopter. I'm often chatting to you at helicopter times, so here's trusting you can actually hear me as it's going overhead, and it's quite overcast, so I'm not actually able. Oh, yep, I can see it. It's a big one. That's why it's so loud. Interesting timing. It's a great example of things popping up that we don't always anticipate. So I've certainly started to notice some changes, and even with our planning for this year as we're kicking off, and when you'll be listening to this, we'll be now in April, and so it's not only starting off as we mean to go on, but also reevaluating that as we're going. So how am I actually going with that process, with that plan? And sometimes finding, as we have, that, we've popped a few more things in, and being really discerning and checking in again on our values. So for us, spiritual connection, health, we have these in common, some a little bit in different order. That's certainly for me, spirituality, health, relationships, contribution, and then making sure that I've got my eyes open as I live my life around those values, in terms of what I'm prioritizing in my life. And that's really helped in terms of what we've scheduled in and where we choose to be. So for you, if you were to pause a moment and consider the question, are you living your life in a way that you have your values prominent, that you're prioritizing your life based on your values? And if not, where could tweaks be? And if you were to pause and really think about your values, that may be a place to begin. Then what's one step that you could take to apply that in terms of the way that you're experiencing your life? Always love hearing from you. And until I see you on this week's Alive with Thee, keep sharing your sunshine, and ciao for now.